an FCS level, so their head coach, Coach Francione, wants them to start competing a little better here at this level. He's felt like they've done a pretty good job, but to get over the hump, they got to win one on the road, and that's what they're looking to do today. Let's see if the Aggies can stop them. Guys, back upstairs to you.
All right, thank you, Brooks. Yes, Utah State, best start since 1978. They're 7-2. They're 3-0 in conference play, trying to go 4-0 and remain in contention for the conference championship. A big one in a couple of weeks against Louisiana Tech. And it was a promising beginning for Texas State, but since that time, they've fallen into the better schedule of WAC play. So they are now 1-1 in conference play.
And coming off a game against San Jose State last week that they led at halftime. So I mean, this is a very good football team. And we talk about that game against Louisiana Tech in 2 weeks. This first time meeting between these two schools, it might be a smash mouth kind of ball game.
So here we go. Utah State will get the ball first, taking about the 16-yard line. One of the up guys. The penalty marker on the play at about the 29-yard line. So this is one of the strengths of Texas State is their special teams. We were told that they were going to kick it out of the end zone here in elevation, but unable to do so.
Yeah, I think the strategy may have been to either kick it short or kick it deep, but don't let those deep guys return the football.
The illegal block below the waist, number 95 on the kicking team. 15-yard penalty.
Rarely do you see a coverage team chop block penalty, but that's what it's going to be here. And Utah State will start this ball game in terrific field position.
Talk about a drive start. They're going to be at the 48. And how about Chucky Keaton? You see the numbers, what he's done. Last week was sensational, career high in completions with 27. Also had 340 yards and 3 touchdowns. Kevin, he found 12 different wide receivers, 12 different targets last week in the win against Texas San Antonio, 48-17. And, of course, last time we saw him a couple weeks ago at New Mexico State, they started with a screen pass for a touchdown. This time they go over the middle, bobbled and hung on to and caught. Nice pickup on first down is McMiller able to make the tackle for Texas State. I've looked at our Cache Valley Bank starting lineups. Tyler Larson making 35th consecutive start, leads the team in that categories. It's a very good offensive line. Austin, a top wide receiver for them, and Kerwin Williams, look for him in explosive plays, gets to the 36-yard line. Of course, Kerwin Williams started the game 2 weeks ago with a 76-yard screen for a touchdown, and just in one play, Utah State was up 7-0 over the Aggies of New Mexico State.
They've been explosive all season long, and this defensive front for Texas State will be under pressure all game long.
Keaton finds Cameron Webb, has a first down, makes a man miss all the way to the 10-yard line for Cameron Webb, who's coming off his best performance last week. 5 catches, 59 yards, and his first career touchdown. One of those former walk-on players that Coach Anderson is so proud of. One more look at the big play here by Utah State's offense, a gain of 26 yards.
And right back on the line of scrimmage now, trying to get up early. One of their keys for today's ball game.
Williams tripped up by Gerald Morris, the senior out of San Antonio, Texas. Coach Anderson said, watch for this field corner number 2. He just jumps off at the screen at you. So we'll be keeping an eye on Morris all game long. He's a good one for Texas State.
Yeah, NFL caliber defensive back. And Utah State right in the red zone. And this is something they've done all season long. 89-6 first quarter advantage for Utah State.
And here is Williams trying to get wide. Texas State does a nice job stringing him out. Unable to get much.
I think that might have been Xavier Daniels coming up from his safety spot. Played it very well, was able to run sort of laterally with Williams to push him and use the sideline as an additional defender. Looked like Williams had space to go into the end zone. And you might see this young man, Kerwin Williams, break the century mark here this afternoon.
13 carries for 90 yards a week ago against Texas San Antonio. Utah State, they've averaged 46 points the last 3 weeks. This one in the end zone, caught for a touchdown. It's going to be pass interference. That doesn't matter. Travis Reynolds, the sophomore from Florida, with a touchdown.
Pass interference, defense. That penalty is declined.
So
Touchdown.
again, the Aggies week after week seem to be able to score on their opening possession. watch Keaton here. Stand tall, be patient, wait for Reynolds to clear. A slant route over the middle into the end zone for the Aggie touchdown. Great start for Utah State.
Beat the sophomore Mager. 6 plays, 51 yards, only 2:14 of clock. He has on to attempt the extra points, and he's got it. He was named the Special Teams Player of the Week for what he did against New Mexico State 2 weeks ago. So a good beginning for the Aggies, kind of what you would expect over the last 3 weeks. They have just blistered their opponents. One more look at the touchdown to Travis Reynolds.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to circle Keaton there. One of the things he's doing better and better is standing tall in the pocket. A year ago, if the first option's not there, he would look to tuck and run. Now he's standing taller in the pocket, waiting for things to develop, trusting the offensive line, and in this particular case, Reynolds able to get free, and then the strike. Put the velocity on the ball, and Reynolds able to snag it, get in the end zone. That man, Gary Anderson, very happy about the Aggie offensive first possession.
He has coached a total of 25 players now on NFL rosters. Does a great job of developing talents.
Now watch out for this return game. This is one of the things that we've seen all season long for Texas State, the ability to give themselves good field position with their return game.
Yeah, number 80, Japhus Gaines. Watch for him. He's ranked nationally, leads the WAC. And this one will go out of the end zone. So terrific job, special teams by Utah State, neutralizing that very explosive kick returning ability of Texas State. And they'll get the ball at the 25-yard line.
I'm curious to see Sean Rutherford, former wide receiver, turned quarterback. Utah State coaches call the triple option attack from Texas State the varsity version of the triple option. Look for a little throw game off the option, look for the dive game, and look for the pitch game out of the option. A lot of motion, and the Aggie defenders are going to have to be able to be solid in space in their tackling this afternoon.
Rutherford was a backup to Cam Newton at Blinn Junior College. They'll start on the ground. They've got to rush the football to have any type of success against Utah State. That's been the common denominator when they've ran the ball effectively. They're in ball games and they win games. If you can shut the run down, they have a hard time competing.
And Rutherford, very accurate with the football, not a lot of yards per attempt, but he's also rushed for 288 yards and a couple of scores. And a week ago, you can see 14 of 26. They're not going to throw it a lot. They want to keep the ball on the ground, keep the clock rolling, try to wear your defenders down. If they can keep that option attack going this afternoon, they'll be able to stay close.
Last week, the first game of his career where he threw multiple interceptions, and Nevin Lawson having nothing to do with this. A quick tackle to this near side as the catch was made by Ben Aisha, the sophomore from San Diego, California.
Yeah, just a simple man-to-man. And you see more and more teams trying to attack Nevin Lawson, and Lawson has stood the test all season long. They really try to attack his side because of his lack of size.
But he's a physical corner.
No question about it.
He can bring it. The starters for Texas State, brought to you by Cache Valley Bank. 13, Andy Erickson. Watch for him. He's their leading receiver. Rutherford with the option play. And they do get a first down. Nicely done by the Bobcats. And it's Marcus Curry, who I believe went to the same high school as Preston Medlin, one of the star basketball players for the Utah State Aggies. Look at this 3-4 defensive fronts. Again, brought to you by Cache Valley Bank. Fackrell is terrific. Will Davis, understand there's a scout here from the Chicago Bears looking specifically at Will Davis.
Back-to-back weeks with interceptions for that young man. I remember him telling me before the game at New Mexico State, today's the day, and he certainly got one, and he got another one again a week ago.
First down for the Bobcats. Pressure coming, and they drop him back at the 35-yard line. B.J. Larson, a local product from right here in Logan. He was a Logan Grizzly, your alma mater. Comes in with a quarterback sack on Rutherford.
Very surprised that they would come out and try to throw on first down. We saw on 3rd and long, 3rd and 6, they still ran the option, and they're going to do that. But now they put themselves in a position that they don't like to be in, which is 2nd and 3rd and long. But I would suspect that they'll still try to run out of the option, even in 2nd and long, and try to get into more manageable territory. But you saw Larson break through there and just sort of overpower this sort of young offensive line, a little bit undersized.
Utah State leads the WAC in sacks, able to get this one off. Nice play, good blocking up front for Ben Aisha, the sophomore, with another catch. Last week, just one catch for 12 yards, has 10 for 77 coming into today's game. Of course, Texas State without Isaiah Battle, probably their best receiver. They've missed him the last 4 weeks. Coach Franchione's hopeful to get him back next week for Louisiana Tech, but so Aisha and also Gaines, they've kind of benefited in his absence with the injury.
A nice play call to get them in third and manageable territory. The bubble screen to the wide receiver.
3rd and 5. They will stay on the ground. Be close to a first down depending on the spot. Bobcats confident that they got it. I think that's Terrence Franks out of Angelton, Texas.
Yeah,
and Vigil with the stop.
And good enough for the first down. Just a simple read. We thought we'd see more option, but they're running out of the shotgun. And a missed tackle there that could have stopped him short of the first down. We saw that on the bubble screen, a couple of missed tackles. Coach Dave Aranda, the defensive coordinator for Utah State, preaching we've got to tackle better, and especially against a team like this, out of the pistol formation, we got to tackle in space because they want to create mismatches outside.
Frank started in that Texas Tech game, caught by Erickson. He's their leading receiver, 28 catches, 385 yards, and 3 touchdowns coming into this game. Last week against the Spartans, 4 catches for 53 yards.
And a nice opening drive here for the Bobcats. Excellent run-pass, mix of plays. Run a little bit of the option, run the bubble screen, and a quick out to the wide receiver. We've seen that twice now, a little isolation play, one-on-one on the outside. Great play calling.
Dennis Franchione now in his second stint. This pass caught by Brandon Smith out of Alabama. 7 catches, 62 yards coming in. But Franchione, he was there 90-91. He's got a terrific history of turning around struggling programs. Did it with New Mexico, did it with TCU. He also stops at Alabama and Texas A&M. Went back to Texas State, and he's hopeful with a new move to the Sun Belt Conference that they can win at that FBS level as they stay on the ground. And again, it's Franks. Vigil with the stop.
And they started out the season very strong with a 30-13 victory over Houston. That's a program that has sort of risen to prominence over the past couple of years. Of course, new coach and new quarterback at Houston, but they got them early. What that also did, though, is it put them sort of on the radar of everybody else that plays them, because now everybody says, hey, these guys, they came out at the beginning of the season and got an FBS victory. We got to be ready to play. And you can see on this opening drive, very strong out of the chute.
Rutherford to throw. He's got time. He's going to tuck and run inside the red zone, tackled at about the 18-yard line. Now, this is strength versus strength in terms of red zone offense for Texas State and red zone defense for Utah State. Number 1 in the WAC are the Aggies, allowing just 67% scores in the red zone and 33% on touchdowns.
And you can see there the wide receiver skills, the running skills of Rutherford. Almost 300 yards rushing on the season. A good read to give his team now a second and very short.
Texas State offense ranking 5th in the WAC. Good tackle on the edge. And again, it's Marcus Curry. Has 3 100-yard games in his career.
So they're running out of the pistol formation, and you're seeing a lot of play action. You've seen the option. You've seen the quick hitch. You've seen the roll spread. I mean, you've seen a little bit of everything out of this Texas State offense. And this will be one of the things that Dave Aranda and the defensive coaching staff for Utah State will have to adjust to.
Rutherford again to throw the football. Caught. Lawson quickly forcing Ben Aisha out of bounds. But again, they're getting stuff on first down. They're staying on schedule.
And everything quick. Everything. Grab the snap and go. Either on the read, on the option. The only time they sort of slow played, they had the little rollout, but the sack was the slowest developing play thus far in this drive. Everything very quick. Look for the defensive backs now to sort of take a step forward against these wide receivers.
Inside 6.5 remaining, first quarter, first possession for Texas State. Aggies scoring on their first possession. Texas State trying to counter. B.J. Larson again in on the stop, as well as Jordan Nielsen. So the Cache Valley kids rising up and making plays. Of course, Nielsen went to nearby Skyview.
Rutherford again. Just reading the defensive end. This time it looked like it was Dowdy. It was Fackrell on the outside, waiting for the pitch. Forced Rutherford back to the inside. And now a big third down opportunity for Texas State, and they're going to talk about it.
Talking about this offense, Coach Francione says it's a multiple pistol, but in talking to Utah State, they were saying they actually run 4 or 5 different type of offenses. Whatever it is, it's effective early against the Aggies. 5:51 left, Aggies on top 7-0. Kevin, let's get to our automatic car credit keys of the game.
For Utah State, they need to get off to a fast start, which they've already done here. They're outscoring their opponents 89-6 in the first quarter. They need to tackle in space on defense. For Texas State, they need an early turnover against the Aggie offense and then keep it close so they can maintain their ability to run the option and stay within their offense. And now this is going to hurt them on a third and manageable. Going to be moved back 5 yards with the false start penalty. The other thing that I think it might be key for Texas State is their kicking game. We've heard so much about Will Johnson, their kicker, NFL-style leg. We might see him here in just a second. But also in the return game. That might be a key today. Can they get a big play in the special teams?
Utah State, number 1 on third down defense, allowing teams to convert 33% of the time. Texas State, they convert 39% of the time. Can they convert on this 3rd and 9? They go deep. Will Davis is out there. Did he make the interception? He did. So 3 games in a row, Will Davis comes up with an INT.
And he played this one absolutely perfectly. I'm sure they'll probably try to review it to see if he got his foot down, but he played it perfectly. The hitch and go, he didn't bite on the pump fake, stayed in position, and that's something that the NFL scouts that are here today to watch this young man are going to love. Then watch the catch in the finger. I think he's in. At least from that angle, looks like that right foot down. And 3 consecutive weeks.
5:43 left. Back after this. Utah State coming into this game, Kevin, they were -4 on that turnover ratio, 5th in the WAC. That'll certainly help. Ends the Texas State scoring drive. And Will Davis, again, we've talked about it, NFL scouts here to watch him, comes with a nice play on defense and gives the ball back to Chucky Keaton in this explosive offense. Going to set up the screen. Bartlett gets a nice block up to about the 29-yard line. The ball came out late. He'd already, both elbows were down at that point. So it'll be a good pickup on 1st down.
So a little variation here. Normally we see Kerwin Williams or others in the screen game. Joe Hill a week ago, I believe, a touchdown on a screen. Using Kellen Bartlett this time.
Well, had his 2nd touchdown catch of his career last week in San Antonio. Stay on the ground here. That's one thing Coach Anderson really wants to work on is that running game. He felt like they could have been better at that a week ago. Let's see if they kind of crank that up here in the first half.
Had 128 yards on the ground a week ago in San Antonio. 68 of that on one play. And so they'd like to be a little bit more consistent, as you say, in that ground attack and see that offensive line come off the ball.
Got a 1st down. Here's Keaton going to call his own number, spinning his way to the 37-yard line. Coming in with 358 rushing yards, 3 touchdowns. Long of 76 yards. Saw that a couple weeks ago here at New Mexico State.
Good read on that play, as they had Kerwin Williams bottled up to get some positive yardage. This Aggie offense, over 500 yards a game since entering WAC play, 46 points per ball game. They're really hitting on all cylinders right now.
Keaton gonna throw on the run. He's got Austin out there who makes the catch. Brought down inside the 5-yard line. Matt Austin makes the play, the senior receiver out of California. Just had 2 catches a week ago for 21 yards. But he is the big play receiver.
A one-man route. And Keaton keeps his eyes up. And then what you love here is his ability to throw the ball out in front to let Austin run underneath it. This young man at the quarterback position is growing every single week in his ability to read and then throw and make plays. Having possibly one of the finest Aggie quarterback seasons of all time.
It's a pickup of 61 yards. Keaton to the end zone, caught for a touchdown. Kellen Bartlett in consecutive weeks now with touchdown catches.
It's absolutely remarkable, Michael, how Utah State now 102 possibly 103 pending the extra point, to 6 in the first quarter against their opposition. Simple little read route, release out into the flat for Bartlett, and Keaton already with his second touchdown pass of the ballgame. Saw Bartlett hold his block for just a 1 count, released into the flat. Keaton put it right on him for the score. He's up.
Keaton now with 21 touchdown passes on the season. Diaz with the extra points. 3:53 left in the first quarter. Utah State strikes again, 14-0.
So a great view of this long play to Matt Austin. I want you to watch Chucky Keaton right here as he fakes, then senses pressure. Watch his head right there, keeping his head up, and then the ball out in front of Austin. I mean, the plays of the quarterback, the subtleties of a quarterback play. The head up, the ability to sense pressure, the ability then to throw it where only his receiver can get to it. This is the young guy that's possibly looking at becoming a WAC Player of the Year.
So like Express scoring drive, see 5 plays, didn't take that long. His touchback is Texas State will start at the 25-yard line. 5 plays, 80 yards, 150 of clock. Keaton perfect so far, 6 for 6, 110 yards and 2 touchdowns. And that play you just diagrammed, a long one, 61 yards to Austin.
And it was a single one-man route. They brought everybody up with the play action, but I love these subtleties, the ability to sense the pressure, to get outside, keep the head up, and then the beautiful throw. I mean, these are things that this young sophomore, probably a year ago, that was a tuck and run. This time, he's keeping the head up, and he's developing into one of the finest young quarterbacks in this league, if not the country.
As you mentioned, 3-time Offensive Player of the Week in the WAC. And certainly in the conversation of the best players in the WAC. Nowhere to go this time. Utah State has that bottled up on that far side.
I've got to believe that Dave Aranda, the defensive staff, Coach Anderson, probably brought the defense over and said, hey, we've got to be a little bit more stout up front against this Texas State offense. Texas State able to really drive on that first possession, thwarted by Will Davis in the interception. That's another thing that the defensive staff, as you can see, 131 to 68 total yardage. One of the things the defensive staff has preached all season long is the ability to get takeaways. They want 3 per game.
Off to a good start, already with 1 takeaway. Rutherford's pass, a little bit too tall. Led Curry too much, so a wasted opportunity by this Texas State Bobcat offense. We talked about it. They rank 5th in offense. They score about 24 points a game. Total offense, they average 356, which is 6th in the conference. Had such a promising drive, got the penalty, backed them up, and then Will Davis took care of the rest.
Played it perfectly, but Rutherford wishes he could have had this one back because he had the flat open to Curry, and Curry could have been running down the sideline if that ball would have been on frame.
3rd and 9, Rutherford to pass again, and it's caught for a first down at the 40-yard line. So the second catch by Brandon Smith. Came in with 7 catches for 62, did the freshman out of Alabama.
You know, you look at it, 100 of 148 coming in for Rutherford. And you just thought, well, they're going to line up in that pistol, and they're going to try to smash mouth, run the option. They've come out throwing here this afternoon, and he's looked fairly strong in doing so. Been able to pick up some first downs on 3rd downs through the air, doing a nice job.
His pickup was gained to 13 yards. This looked promising, but then the hole closed quickly as Franks again. O.J. in on the stop.
Cade Brady, leading tackler for the Utah State defense, coming up from the safety position.
Another former walk-on player, Brady.
But a nice start to this drive for Texas State. I think this drive, they've got to put some points on the board if they want to stay. It looks like this Aggie offense is not going to be stopped. I mean, they are on such a roll right now. I think Texas State, the Bobcats, have got to get something in the end zone, if not a 3-pointer, to get something going on this drive.
Rutherford's in trouble. Able to spin out of the tackle, then he just slides down. See if they'll give that to Fackrell or not. I mean, he's the one that kind of made the play. Rutherford, 6 feet, 187, showing you some strength, not going down in the arms of Fackrell.
Fackrell, redshirt freshman, seems to be making plays every game. So I'm right there, try to read the quarterback, and then attack. And that's something that they have been practicing all week long. When you get the opportunity, you got to hit Rutherford. No quarterback likes to be hit. Even the running quarterbacks don't like to be hit in open space.
A loss of 12 on the play. You see Utah State leading the WAC in sacks already with 3. And we're still in the first quarter. Cots short of a first down. Ben Aisha, he's been very active. His 3rd catch already this afternoon. Remember, last week just 1 catch for 12 yards. But they've seen something maybe on tape and involved him a little bit more.
And I think Coach Francione, right here on 4th and 2 inside their own territory, he senses our defense is not going to be able to stop this Utah State offense. We got to go for it here and try to keep this drive. This is an absolutely imperative drive for Texas State if they want to stay in this football game. And Dennis Francione knows it.
3 of 10 on 4th downs are the Bobcats on the season. They're going to punt the football away. It's high, but it's not necessarily that deep. Will it get a bounce? Not a great one. He downed at the 28-yard line.
Surprised us all with the quick kick.
KMYU is the television home for the Utah State Aggies. Our next telecast will be coming to you live from the D. Glenn Smith Spectrum Saturday, November 10th. When Idaho State comes to town, our coverage begins at 7 p.m. Watch the Utah State Aggies on KMYU. My Utah TV will have at least 15 Utah State basketball games. Excited to see Stu's crew. They play tonight against Simon Fraser in an exhibition match, but it's all real next Saturday. Williams in trouble, will be brought down for a loss back at the 26.
I understand Coach Morrill doesn't like the fact that this may be becoming a football school now.
McMillan in on the stop.
Coach Gary Anderson and staff have sort of flipped the script now. As you mentioned, 8 WAC victories in a row.
Program record, conference wins, looking for number 9, off to a good start as the first quarter winds down here in Logan, Utah. So it's the hometown Aggies on Military Day. Very military-like marching down the field, striking, big strikes. They lead Texas State in a first-ever meeting, 14-0. Back to the second quarter when you come back.